Hello, we'll be looking into the 5 questions from medieval history today. Let's get started. The first question that we have is choose the correct statements in relation to the Battle of the Rhine. So, what has been asked is about the Battle of the Rhine that was in the year 1191 and 1192. Let's read the statements given. The first statement says that Hindu princes formed a confederacy under the command of Maharana Sanga. The second statement is in the Battle of the Rhine, that was the year 1191, that is the first one. The first one near Delhi, Gauri was defeated, but the second Battle of the Rhine, that was 1192, was a major disaster for the Rajputs. The third statement is Gauri left behind his favorite general, that is Qutb Aibak, to make further conquests in India. And the last statement is the first Mughal kingdom was firmly established at Agra. Now, these are the 4 statements that have been given to us. We have to find which amongst these are correct or are all of these correct. So, if you read the B statement, that is in the Battle of the Rhine, that is the first one, this happened basically near Delhi. Gauri was defeated, but in the second Battle of the Rhine, this was a major disaster for Rajputs. Now, this is absolutely correct. Then let's read the C. Gauri left behind his favorite general Qutbuddin Aibak to make further conquests into India. This is also absolutely correct. The answer for this question is that only B and C are correct. Why is statement A and statement D incorrect? Let's look into it. Firstly, Hindu princes formed a confederacy not under the command of Maharana Sanga. It was who? It was Prithvi Raj Chauhan. It was Prithvi Raj Chauhan and not Maharana Sanga. So basically, in the first battle of the Rhine, this was Prithvi Raj Chauhan versus the Muhammad Gauri. And who won? Prithvi Raj Chauhan won. This is in 1191. In the 1192, that is the second battle of the Rhine, here Gauri won, right? As a result, Prithvi Raj Chauhan was defeated and was also killed in the second battle of the Rhine. So the first statement is wrong because it's Maharana Sanga here. It should be Prithvi Raj Chauhan. And the D statement that the first Mughal kingdom was firmly established at Agra. This Agra is not correct. The first Mughal kingdom was actually established in India, not in Agra, but actually in. I hope this is, you see, we're actually talking about Battle of the Rhine. Battle of the Rhine is basically into two. That is the first one, 1191, and the 1192. In this, Prithvi Raj Chauhan won. Okay, the Rajputs basically won. They came in under, they formed a confederacy. But in the 1992, that is Gauri, Muhammad Gauri came in stronger. He came with a lot more army, and in this, Prithviraj was captured and killed. So, this first Mughal kingdom that was established was not in Agra, it was at Ajmer in India. Very important. So, this is all the important information you need about the Battle of the Rhine 1191 and 1192. Please understand that the Hindu princes, these are the Rajput princes. Rajput princes basically formed a confederacy under the command of Prithvi Raj Chauhan. The first battle, like I told you, was won by Prithvi Raj Chauhan. The second one was won by Gauri. And the second battle of the Rhine was actually a decisive battle. Why? Because it was a major disaster for the Rajputs. Their political prestige suffered a serious setback. The whole of the Chauhan kingdom was now at the feet of the invader, that is Gauri. Right? Then you have to also understand that after the brilliant victory over Prithviraj Chauhan at the Rhine, that is in the second battle of the Rhine, the Muhammad Gauri basically returned to Ghazni, that is where he came from, and he left behind his favorite general, that is Qutbuddin Aibak, to make further conquests in India. And then Aibak consolidated his position in India by occupying places like Delhi and Meerut. So these places are extremely important. So Please understand that the first Mughal kingdom was actually established at Ajmer and not Agra, and Qutbuddin Aibak further consolidated his power and position in areas such as Delhi and Meerut. So, if you follow all these statements, the only correct statement here is B and C. As a result, the option 4 is the correct one. Let's look at the question number 2 now. The question number 2 is asking us who was called Lakh Baksh by Muslim writers. Now, the options that we have are Qutbuddin Aibak, Muhammad Ghori, Muhammad Ghazni, and Iltutmish. Now, the correct answer to this is Qutbuddin Aibak. Who exactly was Qutbuddin Aibak? Qutbuddin Aibak was the slave of Muhammad Ghori. He was made the governor of his Indian possessions. He set up his military headquarters at Indraprasth, that is near Delhi. He raised a standing army and established his hold over North India even during the lifetime of Gauri. Right now, after the death of Gauri basically died in the year 1206. Right. So Aibak declared his independence. He served all connections with the kingdom of Gauri and thus founded what we understand as the slave dynasty. So I'm giving you all the important points you need to know pertaining to Qutbuddin Aibak. So he founded the slave dynasty and made what slave dynasty the first one under which we studied the Delhi Sultanate. He assumed the title of Sultan and made his capital at Lahore. His rule basically lasted for a short period, that is almost 4 years only. He ruled, and Muslim writers called Qutbuddin Aibak as Lakh Baksh. Now, what exactly is this Lakh Baksh? Lakh Baksh basically means the giver of lakhs. Why was he given this title by the Muslim writers? Because he gave liberal donations to the Muslim writers. So, giver of lakhs was something which was given to him as a title for his contributions to the Muslim writers. And since we're talking about Muslim writers, some of the ones that are really famous you should know under the reign of Qutbuddin Aibak are, for instance, Hassan Nizami and the others, but Hassan Nizami is extremely important. Now, you also should understand that he started the construction of the, the famous Sufi saint Khwaja Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar, and this was later finished by Iltutmish. Aibak suddenly died while playing Chogan, which is horse polo, in the year 1210. So, this is all about Qutbuddin Aibak 1210. In the year 1210, he basically died and he was succeeded by his son Aram Baksh, who was replaced by Iltutmish after 8 months. So, this is all the important information pertaining Qutbuddin Aibak. Please understand that the title Lal Baksh is giver of lakhs in English. It was given by Muslim writers to Qutbuddin Aibak. Then the next the next question that we have is which amongst the following are the correct statements pertaining to Balban? Now, who are we asked about? We are asked about Balban. So, the era of Balban, just to give you an idea, the era of Balban is 1246 to 1287, right? So, the statements that are given to us are he was also known as Ulugh Khan. He introduced rigorous discipline and new customs such as prostration and kissing Sultan's feet to prove his superiority. Indian Muslims were not given important posts in the government. He was determined to break the power of the 40. Now, these are the statements available. We have to find which amongst these are correct. Are all of these correct? Are all of the above wrong? All except D is correct and only A, B, and D are correct. So, the right answer to this is all of the above. You see, Balban ruled between 1214-6 and 1218-7. He was also known as Ulugh Khan. He served as the Naib or the regent to Sultan Nasiruddin Mahmud. So, this is an important bit. He introduced rigorous discipline and new customs amongst customs such as prostration and kissing the Sultan feet to prove his superiority is also actually correct. You see, he did all of this so that he gains a superior position over who? Over the nobles. Indian Muslims were not given important seats in his government is also absolutely correct. And he was determined to break the power of the 40. Now, who exactly were these 40? This is extremely important. These were the Turkish nobles, right? So, these are some of the important points pertaining to Balban. Since we were asked these statements, all of the above statements are correct. So, the right answer is 1, all of the above. The next question is, which amongst the following had patronized poets like Amir Khusro and Amir Hassan? Now, we've been given these important Muslim poets. We have to understand that who were they patronized by? Were they patronized by Balban, Alauddin Khilji, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, or Sikandar Lodi? The correct answer is Alauddin Khalji. Alauddin Khilji basically was an important sultan. He is, famous for a number of new schemes and new systems that he introduced. For instance, you can remember the system introduced by him that is called Dag, which is called branding of the horses, and also Hulia. Hulia was basically the descriptive list of soldiers. He did all of this to bring in more efficiency into the administration. Now, Amir Khusro and Amir Hassan were some of the important, they still are, their works are extremely important. So these were patronized by Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji died in the year 1316. Although he was an illiterate, but he was famous for patronizing important poets like Amir Khusro and Amir Hassan. He also built a famous gateway that is Alai Darwaza, and he constructed a new capital at Siri. So these are some of the important points pertaining to Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji basically was, the greatest achievement of his was the conquest that he had over Deccan and far south. So he did his far extension did not just remain in the north. He reached far south. He conquered the Deccan. His regions were basically ruled by four important dynasties. They were the Yadavs, they were the Pandyas, they were the Hoysalas, and they were the Kakatiyas. So now all of these were defeated and their position was taken by who? Alauddin Khilji. Then the last question that we have for today is, Babur marched against Delhi and defeated and killed. So we have to tell here about the person who Babur fought with. Is it Ibrahim Lodi, Sikandar Lodi, Bhul Lodi, or none of these? So the correct answer is Ibrahim Lodi. You see, what has been talked about here is the Battle of Panipat. The Battle of Panipat. This is the first Battle of Panipat, which was fought in the year 1526. Sikandar Lodi was succeeded by his eldest son Ibrahim Lodi. He was considered as an arrogant person, and he was greatly displeased by the arrogance of Ibrahim. Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur to invade India. So Babur came into India, and he reached Delhi and he defeated and killed Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat. The Afghan kingdom lasted only for 75 years, and after this, what started was the Mughal era. The Mughal rule started. So we had Babur first, then Humayun and Akbar and the others. So this was the last dynasty standard. This was the Lodi dynasty. Lodi dynasty. The time period for this was 1451 till 1526. And also, who is this Buhul Lodi here? This is the founder of the Lodi dynasty. So Buhul Lodi was the first Afghan ruler, while his predecessor, were all Turks. So who was he? He was an Afghan. So this is all the important information about the first battle of Panipat. Babur came victorious here, as a result of which Mughal rule started in India and the Lodi dynasty basically came to an end. But the correct answer to this is first, that is Ibrahim Lodi, not Sikandar Lodi, not Buhil Lodi. So this is it. These were our 5 questions from medieval history. I hope they were informative. Thank you for watching.